What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, I want to speak on the SEC's new proposed schedule format. But if you haven't, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. And by doing so, it really helps out my channel and it helps me grow as a content creator. This could be interesting, guys. Currently, the SEC has the West Division and the East Division, and going forward, the SEC has been talking about, potentially changing the format up, and it's gonna be interesting, guys. The two, it's pretty much two ideas that they've been talking about. Maybe making the teams play 8 SEC teams versus playing 9 SEC games. And if they were to do the 8 SEC teams, each team in the SEC will have one permanent opponent who they'll play every year. No matter the circumstance, they'll just play one a particular team every year, and then they'll rotate out the other teams. But then in the nine game format, they'll have three permanent opponents that they have to play, and then they'll rotate the other player teams. So um, I read an article on Nick Saban, and he wasn't pleased with the proposed three teams that Alabama would play, and when they did it, they try to do it, by geographical and then history, like rivalries and stuff like that. And the three teams that Alabama would have been playing would have been Tennessee, Auburn, and LSU. Nick Saban complained about it though, and it's a head scratcher if you really think about it. The teams that he's complaining about. He said he doesn't know how Alabama would be tasked with playing those three teams, but we play those teams every year anyway. So I don't understand. He said, let me see, this is what he said for word. Um, He said, I've always been an advocate for playing more conference games. But if you play more games, I think you have to get the three fixed opponents right. They're giving us Tennessee, Auburn, and LSU. I don't know how they come to that decision. Head scratcher. I mean, we play those teams every year, coach. And he also said more balance and equity than what has been proposed by league administrators in a 9 game model. So he pretty much said, they did it in, within 10 years, last 10 years or so. And he was basically saying some teams like Tennessee has gotten better. He noted that in the top 10, like two of those teams are in the top 10, and the other one is in the 10 a lot. So, and then he said, look historically over 25-year history, and the three best teams in the East are Georgia, Tennessee, and Florida, Saban said. You look historically at 25 years, Alabama, LSU, and Auburn are the best teams in the West. So we're playing them all. Coach, we play them every year. Like we pretty much play that schedule every year. So I don't know why he was complaining about that. It's a head scratcher, but that's not really what I want to talk about in this video. In this video, I looked at this article and they did a propose, just a guess of who all the teams will be playing if they were to do it, and they'll base it off of their geographical uh, place on the map and rivalry. And it's interesting, it made me want to go look at it. And this is Sports Illustrated, that I'm looking at. So they took a guess at, what each team would play, the permanent teams that they'll play on their schedule. We'll start with Arkansas first. For Arkansas would play Missouri, Texas, and Ole Miss every year. For Texas and A&M, they would play LSU, Texas, and Mississippi State. For Texas, they would play Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Arkansas. Oklahoma, when they come into the SEC, as well as Texas, they would play Texas, Missouri, and Florida. LSU would play Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and Alabama. Ole Miss would play Mississippi State, LSU, and Arkansas. Mississippi State would play Ole Miss, Kentucky, and Texas A&M. And like I told you, Alabama would play Auburn, Tennessee, and LSU. Auburn would play Alabama, Georgia, and Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt would play Tennessee, Auburn, Missouri. Tennessee would play Vanderbilt, Alabama, South Carolina. Kentucky would play Mississippi State, South Carolina, and Georgia. Georgia would play Auburn, Florida, and Kentucky. Florida would play Georgia, South Carolina, Oklahoma. And then South Carolina would play Florida, Tennessee, and Kentucky. So when I thought about it, that would make sense for some of these. The only problem with either format, even with the 8-game format or 9-game format, you're going to miss out on some good games, marquee games. Now, with Alabama, we'll still play Auburn every year. That's our rival. We'll play them. I understand that. We'll play LSU. That's a game that we would play, every year if we go through the, 9-game format. If we go through the 8, I'm not sure they will actually put LSU as one of our permanent opponents. They'll probably be Auburn. So we'll probably miss out on LSU every other year or so. But with this 9-game format, it actually would, it'll be a lot of competition, guys. Let me just say that first and foremost. And you're still gonna miss out on some good games. But for the most part, if you do the 9-game format, you pretty much get most of your rivalry games. Like I said with Texas, they'll still play Oklahoma. That'll be their permanent. You'll get the Texas A&M game. We haven't seen Texas versus Texas A&M in a while. Um, it seems like the 9-game format would benefit, the SEC as far as keeping most of the rivalries going on, and then potentially you play another third game with another opponent. Then the other games you're switching out. So maybe Nick Saban, he might be on to something. I mean, because if you really think about it, Auburn got, Hugh Freeze over there. Hugh Freeze has beaten Nick Saban twice. Tennessee, they just beat us in 15 years last season. Josh Heupel got that program going. Then LSU with Brian Kelly, his first year was able to beat Nick Saban. So those are some dogs. Yeah, those are some dogs of teams. And then can you imagine a scenario for us Alabama fans? We play Auburn, Tennessee, and LSU every year. And then a potential of Georgia down the road somewhere during the regular season, not in the SEC championship. I'm talking about during the regular season. That's a brutal schedule. But if you really look at it, everybody will have a brutal schedule. Like with LSU, they play us every year. If they go to the 9-game format, LSU would play us, Texas A&M, Ole Miss. Like I said, games that we already played. Then potentially down the road, LSU can play Georgia. Heck, Florida might be clicking. Across the board. I just don't understand what Nick Saban is complaining about. I don't know what coaches complain about, but either way, I mean, we play these teams every year, so I don't have a problem with it. But I guess he's talking about how Georgia would just have to play Auburn and Florida. I guess he's looking, like Florida's not, really. They've been struggling the last couple of seasons. Then they playing in Kentucky, but like I said, Georgia could mess around and play us. We could be one of them rotational games that they play. So I think the 9-game format, I think they're going to go with that. It has its problems, just like, just going with the 8-game format. But I think I'm for the 9-game, format. If they decide to do that, like I said, Oklahoma and Texas are coming next year in 2024. So I'm for the 9-game format. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do, man. With Grant Sankey's going to talk with the committee and see what they're going to do. But I just wanted to make a video on that and speak on this Sports Illustrated, prediction. And the guy that credited for this, yeah, Ross Dellinger, he just made his estimated, guess on the 3 permanent opponents for each school, based on, rivalries and geography and parity and stuff like that. But what do you guys think? Do you think, he got it right with the 3 permanent teams for each school? Do you agree with Nick Saban, or do you disagree? You guys let me know in the comment section. And once again, guys, if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll definitely be back with more college football content. Thanks, guys, and roll tide.